Hello everyone, welcome back to Frosty's Hobbies. In this video I'm going to be showing you the process I went through in making my Mjolnir Hammer. I of course started by printing it. It took about a week and a whole roll of filament. I'll post the STL for this in the comments or in the description of the video below. And here I just go ahead and trim it up and sand it all nice and smooth for the upcoming primer coat. I go ahead and try and get some of the supports out from the decorations on the side, but some of them are very stubborn and don't want to come out. But the sides of the hammer, due to how it was oriented during the print process, had these stripes in them, I guess I'll call them, and they weren't even, so I decided to get the orbital sander out for this part just because it was a large section with some pretty obvious divots, and I wanted to not use my hand the whole time. But this quickly turned out to be a mistake, because doing this caused it to actually like lift off from the hammer. So I go ahead and I just cut my losses and take it off.
Idiot.
Frosty's Hobbies.
And I just go and use my hand. I suck it up and just do that for the rest. For the pommel, there were some supports in the design as well, and I just use an X-Acto knife to get all that out into the precise areas. And then it is ready for super glue. I made sure both surfaces were clean so they could make a good contact, and it dried fairly quickly using the Gorilla Glue, and it stayed really sturdy. I was really impressed. I was very afraid that you'd be able to tell where it was glued, or it might feel a little flimsy in that area, but after a day or maybe even less than that, it was very sturdy, and I was super impressed with it. And now for a Frosty's Hobbies life hack. Do you not have a piece of string laying around, but you have extra USB cables? Well, fear no more. With this handy life hack, you can turn this USB cable from useless to useful. I can't do this. So you'll see here in a second how I decide to prime the hammer, and it's to hang it up by a hook I have outside, and I don't have any string, but I had this USB A to B cable just laying around that I'm not gonna use, so I guess I decided it would be a good idea just to cut the ends off, and it fit perfectly in there, so good for me, I guess. And now I go ahead, and this is the first time I've primed anything outside and hanging up at the same time, so this was new for me. It worked out fairly well for the hammer. I don't know if I'd do it again this way, but now I can say I've done it. And then I just go ahead and tape up the entire handle, and then I do a silver chrome spray paint for the hammer head. I forgot that this area I'm painting right now needed to be silver, so I go ahead and just manually do that. And then I just start with the black base coat here for the entire handle, which, consulting some of my reference pictures, I thought that the handle was black, as you can see here, because this is the first picture I found due to poor research. And I realized that after it was all painted black, that didn't look right at all. So I go ahead and do some more research, and I found a picture like this one. So I decide, okay, it's time to get the brown paint out, and I basically already had a black base coat, so this actually worked out fairly well. This kind of goes to show that there's no wrong way to go about doing something as long as you're happy with the end result. Here's just a kind of a close-up. It's kind of messy, but towards the end you don't really tell, and the further away you are, it looks even better. Normally doing the wash on something and kind of weathering it is my favorite part of a project, but this one, it really wasn't. I think just because some of the runes on this were too deep, and it was just kind of a pain. It was just a lot. It was a lot, and it was a pain to get it all back out, because I didn't want it to be as dark as it was without removing the wash. So, I mean, here on the sides it looked really good. It adds that nice grime layer, but the runes themselves were my least favorite part to do. And now I guess you'd call them the rings around the handle, needed the same silver as the head of the hammer. So luckily I had some metallic paints that I used here, and I just had to be careful. There were some areas that I got a little sloppy, but as I said before, if you're far away you can't really tell, but that's really no excuse for me to do that. It's just hard, and precision painting is something I really need to work towards more of and get more practice in. And I bought this leather for another project, but I figured this would be a perfect use for it. So I go ahead and measure out, I think, 1/2 inch here, because that's how wide the hole is on the pommel for the leather to slide through. So I go ahead and I cover the pommel with silver, because that also needs to be silver. So I cut the leather strip very carefully, and I use some JB Weld that I got from the store, because super glue would not work according to the internet. The JB Weld did hold. It held great, actually, so I would recommend, if you're trying to glue leather together, use that. And here's some beauty shots. All in all, I did have a fun time making this. It was challenging at times, very time consuming due to the weak print time, but I was happy with it, and I think it made a great addition to the ever-growing Marvel collection of 3D printed props. I just want to say thank you all for watching this video, and let me know if you have any other things you want me to try and make. Thanks. Bye.